Begin in a quadruped position with your hands underneath your shoulders and your knees underneath your hips. Move your knees a little bit wider and then bring your hips back and your hands down into a child's pose. If it's more comfortable to keep your knees close together, then you may do that in this position. Start to focus on your breathing. Breathing into your rib cage, imagining the sides of your rib cage expanding, the backs of your rib cage expanding, and the fronts of your rib cage expanding. As you exhale, let your lungs fully empty. Take those deep inhales and exhales. Take a couple breaths into your belly and notice how it fills the space in between your legs. Start to walk your hands up and over to one side. You'll feel a really nice pull through your lats on the side that you're stretching. You can tent your fingertips up to intensify the stretch and enjoy that pull right underneath the back of your armpit. We'll walk your hands up and over to the other side to enjoy your lat stretch on the other arm. Take those deep breaths into your shoulders and then tent your fingertips to feel that stretch intensify. Keep breathing and relaxing your shoulders away from your ears. We're going to transition into a quadruped position. We'll reach one arm up to open up through our chest and then switch to the other side. Allow your hips and your torso to move freely as you rotate from one side to the other, getting a nice opening through your chest and your mid-back as you go. Don't worry about how far your arm goes up. It's more about trying to create this opening movement. Now we'll imagine that we're a dog looking for our tail. So you're going to walk your hands around to the side of your torso and peer behind you, enjoying a really nice and juicy lateral side stretch. Keep your hips and your knees where they are and just let your torso do the work as you walk your hands over to the side of your body. We'll move into some adductor rockbacks. So let's take one leg out to the side, and you're going to begin by rocking forward and back. Your extended leg should help you to feel a nice pull on your inner thigh or your adductor. Try to keep your core engaged and keep breathing as you rock backward and forward, enjoying that nice stretch on your inner thigh. Your extended leg can be with the toe pointed up to the ceiling or with your toe right down onto the ground. You're going to rock backward and forward, enjoying that stretch on your inner thigh, your adductor muscle. Keep your upper body nice and relaxed and continue to send that tailbone back. We'll transition into a hip flexor lunge. So let's take one foot in front. We're going to squeeze the glute of our back leg, reach our opposite arm versus the leg that's in front of us up, and enjoy that really nice pull on the front of our hip and torso. Let's bend that extended arm into a tricep stretch and then start to tilt towards the leg that's in front of us. So we'll lean over to that side slightly, enjoying a really deep stretch in through your hip and your core. Release this stretch, turn your foot inwards, and start to make circles with your hips, just like you were doing a hula hoop sort of movement. And then switch directions. This should feel really nice on your hip flexors and your inner thighs and your pelvis. You're going to tilt your torso and reach your hand down towards the inside of your legs. Rotate through that top arm, reach it up to the sky, and then start to lean back and forward just ever so slightly and enjoy a deep hip and torso opening movement. The rocking back and forward is not huge, so just go slow and steady. We'll return to our knees position and then take our other leg in front of us for our hip flexor lunge. Remember, we're squeezing the glute of the leg that's behind us and lunging into this stretch. Reach your opposite arm versus the leg that's in front of you upwards. Enjoy that stretch on the front of your hip and torso. Let's bend that extended arm into a tricep stretch. And as we do our tricep stretch, tip over towards the hip of the leg that's in front of us. This is a really intense, nice deep stretch for the front of the hip, the core, and the lateral side body. Keep breathing deeply and release this movement. Tilt that back leg in and go back to your hip circles. Remember, it's just like you have a hula hoop around your hips and you're making big circles with your hips, your pelvis. Let's switch directions. Should feel really nice on your hips. Keep this body position. Reach your hand down to the inside of your legs and reach your top arm up. Now we're gonna lean back slightly with our hips, almost as if our hips were going to come back towards our heel, but they won't be able to come back very far. You'll feel a really nice opening into your hips and into your torso as you do this movement. Return back up to standing, and then transfer yourself into a seated wide leg forward fold. You might want to move your fleshy bits to the back so that you can sit nice and tall on your sit bones. Make sure your toes are pointing up towards the ceiling, not inwards or outwards, and start to walk your hands forward until you find a comfortable position. Take deep breaths into your belly and your rib cage as you relax forward and enjoy this stretch through your inner thighs and maybe even your low back and your hamstrings. We're going to walk our hands over to one side and lean down to the inside arm. Reach your top arm over your head and then walk the hands through the center and repeat the same movement on the other side. We're going to cycle back and forth, so walk those hands over, keep the inside arm there, reaching up nice and tall, opening through the chest and shoulder, walking back through the center and reaching and opening up on the other side. Remember, it doesn't matter how far you can bend forward. We're trying to get opening through the inner thighs and lateral torso. Let's bring the knees together. Sit right onto our sit bones and rock back as if you're pulling your shoulder blades apart, rounding through your spine, sending that sternum right back through your mid-back, breathing into those rib cage muscles, and then relaxing this movement. Lie yourself down onto your back, hug your knees into your chest, and rock from side to side. Let's extend one leg down towards the ground, the other leg up towards the ceiling, and we're going to bend and straighten into this dynamic hamstring stretch. So as your leg straightens, you're imagining pushing your heel up towards the ceiling, getting a nice stretch down the back of your leg and maybe even into your calf as well. We're going to hold this stretch, breathing deeply, relaxing the upper body and bringing that leg in closer to the torso. You can always use your shoelaces if you need to. Let's cross one foot over the opposite knee into a figure 4 glute stretch, and then take some light rocking from side to side. This helps us to get a deeper stretch across those glute muscles and feels really nice, like a dynamic, deep hip stretch. Just gently rocking, kind of like you're cradling your leg, rocking back and forth. Let's switch to the dynamic hamstring stretch on the other side, bending and straightening your leg, keeping your other leg bent or straight down to the floor, whatever feels most comfortable. Really pushing through that heel, lengthening out the back of your leg and enjoying that nice dynamic hamstring stretch. Let's hold this position, bring the leg a little closer and breathe deeply, imagining your hamstring lengthening. We'll cross this foot over your opposite knee and bring your legs in closer to your chest for your figure 4 glute stretch. Keep that rocking movement gently from side to side so that you feel a deeper stretch across all of your glute muscles. Imagine your low back just rolling and massaging along into the ground in this position. We'll release this stretch, bring our knees together so that they can do windshield wiper movements, opening up through your hips, arms out to the side, just letting those knees fall from one side to the other, nice and easy. And then straighten the legs into a relaxed lying position. In this position, I want you to just breathe naturally, whether your breath goes into your rib cage or into your belly. It's totally fine. Take nice deep inhales and exhales and allow your whole body to melt into the floor. Totally relaxed. Keep the deep breathing and take a couple seconds to just enjoy this state of peace and quiet.